Hi there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. It is fall out here in Iowa. I'm laughing because my wife's trying to hide. We've got several things to do in 2 days' time. Actually, day after tomorrow, today's Saturday, Monday, we're supposed to have overnight lows in the 20s, lower 20s. That's enough to freeze water. What does that do to your engine blocks? Destroys them if they're not winterized properly. So I currently have 4. Yep. I got 4 Mercruisers to winterize. I got a 3-liter, 120 horse, 165 horse, and another 120 horse. No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 I got to get winterized. And I'm going to show you the bare minimum that you need to do first, and then I'll show you, well, let's just run through one. I'm going to bring the old StarCraft that I've had since 2017, and I've winterized it this way every year, and it's been very successful. And then I'm going to talk through what things you must do and what things are, let's just call them optional. Obviously, the must is flushing out your block. Get all the water out of your block. But before we do that, I'm going to do a nice to do thing. I'm going to say this is a must thing too as well. Let's just say it's a must have, which is fogging your engine. I'm going to show you how I fog my motor to make sure engine, motor, engine, I'm going to show you what I do to fog it and then drain it and then flush it. And then that's all you really have to do. And we want to make these things last a little longer. I've got boats that are 42 to 50 years old. And the reason they still have the original engine in them is because people did the proper winterization. And that's what I want to show you here today, what you need to do to not destroy your engine. Now, outdrives, I'll show you some stuff on that, which can be optional, depending on the amount of hours you've put on it. So let's get after it. Let's get busy. I got to drag it out of the shop, drag it around here, and then we will get busy on the winterization. Stay tuned. It's going to be informative. It will be very helpful, and it will be very educational. Now, a lot of you already know how to do it, but you guys should also watch how I do it and compare to how you do it to see if you're missing something, or maybe I do it a little different just because I'm me. All right, let's get after it. First things first, make sure you have enough, what's it called? RV and marine antifreeze. Now this stuff I've got here, I buy at my local big box store. It's good to -50. I have seen stuff that I have bought and used in the past that's -75 degrees. Do it according to your climate. Now, if you're in Antarctica and you need to winterize your boat, when don't you winterize it? When wouldn't it not be winterized? But anyway, in the Midwest here where I'm at in Iowa, these -50 is usually more than enough to keep your block from freezing. I do 2 things. I flush it to get all the water out of the block, and then I also drain the block of this. So what's left in there then is just a little bit of this and no water. So if this was to get below 50, it's got room to expand up in the block, which that's never going to happen here. I shouldn't say that. Could be end of days. So here I've got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's actually another one on the jug I didn't use last year. And I also got some stable. You want to have stable to put in your fuel. And here again, in all of my boats, I don't run any ethanol or alcohol fuels. So I don't need to run anything in there to help protect it. Now, if you do, if you so happen and they're stuck in a situation where you can only buy ethanol, buy this stable 360 protection, ethanol treatment and stabilizer. Yes, you want to have some of this. So I've got some of this. I also use, I always keep this on hand because I use it in my chainsaws, everything that has a chance to sit a long while. And this is stable and effective in all ethanol blended fuels. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to get into the details. This treats up to 80 gallons in this container. In this same size container, this 360 treats up to 160 gallons. So, and if you read the back, it'll probably tell you why. 1 ounce treats 5 gallons. 1 ounce treats 2.5 gallons. So, this will treat twice as much. It might cost a little more. Pick your poison. Most of this is good for 2 years. Treats fuels, helps them last and keep their volatility for 2 years. So you want to have some of that. Other things you want to have in your arsenal for winterizing your boat. Fogging oil. And we're going to show you how I apply the fogging oil. So what have we got now that we need? Yep. You got it? Yep. Fogging oil. Fuel stabilizer. Antifreeze. These are the 3 major components you need to winterize your boat. So let's go around and get the old StarCraft and drag it around here so we can fire it up and get this show on the road. Okay, ran out of daylight, had an errand to run yesterday, so we're back out here today. This is the last day that I have to winterize my boats because it's going to turn down to like in the lower 20s by tomorrow, and that's enough to freeze water and crack blocks. It may not crack it, but why risk it when you don't have to? Okay, first step. Now, I'm going to tell you the must-haves and the, just a good practice to do stuff. Between must-haves and good practice. That's how I'll identify it for the rest of the video. Must-have and good practice. Before you start up your outdrive or your inboard, in your outdrive, lower your outdrive all the way down. Okay? Is that hard? No. I see so many people at the ramp with this thing kicked up and they're like, I'm like, stop it. The CV joint that's in here, it takes a lot of abuse turning like that. Yes, it's a CV joint. It's designed to handle, more than 3 degrees with an angle, but you're just causing it to work harder than it needs to. And then if you accidentally do this in the water, now you put some real stress, because when this guy hits resistance, look out. It's going to put a lot of pressure up there. So lower your trim. Trim lowering button, trim lowering button, trim lowering button. Full trim down, achieved. Now, if you guys heard some of that, I have a suspicion what that might be. And I'll be showing you what I got to do, because it happened to me on the lake last weekend when we were fishing. But first, we'll see if it'll start, right? Water on. Now, some of you may or may not like it, but I like these little round muffs. They just cover everything, and they work really well. The big square ones don't always fit. And, once the rubber's a couple days old, it just, it don't conform like it should. All right, now, I'm not sure if this is a must-have or, yeah, you should do it. Just do it, okay? It's not that hard. At this point in time, why are you guys leaning crooked? You were looking like one of my dogs when you make a funny sound and they look curious at you. All right, we can move this seat out of my way for a minute. And let's cross our fingers. Will it start? Because I had to jump it on the lake. We'll give it a couple squirts of happy juice here. We'll leave her about half throttlage. Come on, baby. Batteries, DEAD. That's what I was afraid of. So, JF Egwo to the rescue. And if you guys don't know what JF Egwo is, it is a jump pack made by JF Egwo, just as it sounds. And it has enough starting power to start small diesel engines even. There'll be a link in the description below where a description and a link below. There's more letters in there than that. There'll be a link in the description below as where you can obtain yours. There has been an argument out there, okay, just between me and one feller. He knows who he is, and it's all in good humor. Says, I don't need one of them battery packs. You got to replace them every 5 years. Yep, maybe. I've had one for 2 years. Hasn't given me any troubles. I've had battery packs on my drills that have lasted more than 10 years, and I charge them up and run them up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. 10 years. I got batteries that are 10 years old and still working fine. So, if you take, let's just say this pack costs $250. Over 10 years, that's $25 a year worth of insurance that you'll have something to jump your vehicle, your car, your boat, your mini bike, your motorcycle, your lawnmower, your tow vehicle, 10 years, $25 a year. People pay a lot more than that a month or in 2 weeks for coffee or beer. Well, it's $25, Sounds pretty cheap now, doesn't it? Better get you one. Anyway, and there's no warranty on these things for 10 years. Nope, I'm not even saying that. But I'm just saying, if they last like my DeWalt does, and I'm saying JF Egwo is right up there with DeWalt quality as far as the quality of the unit they're building, in my opinion. This is my opinion. I'm reviewing it, right? So, without further ado, let's go get the JF Egwo, and we're going to go ahead and jump start this boat. The battery, I'm going to look at it and see how old it is. This battery might be on its last leg anyway. It might be 4 or 5 years old by now. And the fact that I got over 3 years out of a battery in a boat, and keep in mind, I take my batteries out of my boat every year, put them on my battery maintainer in the wintertime, and then in the springtime they come back out. The bad thing I did this year on this particular one is I started this up in the beginning of the year when I did the install of the new SEI Marine Outdrive and trim pump. And we drove it a lot, broke it in, and I haven't started it since. Shame on me. I haven't taken this boat out fishing as much as I should. Now, in between times, I did take, as you guys follow me on this channel, the Good Enough John boat out several times to test several outboards, which was a lot of fun. So my son-in-law last weekend came out to fish with me, and we went fishing, and we slayed them. We caught over 100 fish. Now, keep in mind, we were doing bluegill and crappie. And out of the over 100, there were 32 keepers that we actually kept and had a little fish fry at the house that night. Awesome. That was 100 over 2 days. So we had a good time. It was relaxing. It was rejuvenating for me. Yes, it was. So, JF Egwo to the rescue. All right, here it is. Now, I want you folks to keep in mind that, yes, I do some sponsored videos. This one is not one of those videos, because I've already done one for these guys. But it's also the fact that this is real life. This is happening today. This is a real problem. And guess what? I don't have to go pull my vehicle around. I don't have to jump start this from another vehicle. I don't have to have 15-foot jumper cables. All I need is this. Move the seat out of the way. We'll get to our battery, which is right here. Let's see, 1976. Yeah, this is January, February, March, April of 2019. So this battery is now 4 years old. I will do my battery testing fun on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, power it on. I charged this up 100% the other day before my son and I just went took a trip to go look at some equipment. Now it's on. That's all you've seen me do. Let's whip it over. I'm gonna turn it on now. You guys will hear all the noises. Now, as you guys saw, that just whipped it right over. Water's still on and running. She's warming up. Oh yeah, you're running a little rich. You're running a little richy rich there. We'll drop her back down to an idle here. We're letting her warm up, get up to temperature. One thing I didn't do yet, which you don't necessarily have to do, but if your boat might be sitting longer than 6 months, I recommend you do it. And that's put Stable in your fuel tank. My fuel fill-up thingy's right behind where you can't see it. I think this is a brand new unopened container. And Stable, keep in mind, only lasts so long by itself. I think this treats, this is a 18-gallon tank, and it's full. And I use non-ethanol fuels, no alcohol in my fuel for all my boats. Cars, different story. Boats, small engines, 1 ounce treats 5 gallons. So let's put 4 ounces in here. That should treat 20 gallons. And this is 1 ounce per doohickey here. 1, 2, 3, and here again, I just use Stable. There's seafoam fuel treatments for this type of thing and all kinds of other ones, right? Then once I got her full, now you guys sitting at your desk, grab your arms on your armchair or your couch, and I'm gonna shake you. Now I'm just shaking it. Shake it like it owes you money. Why am I shaking it? Well, I'm trying to mix this up in the fuel. Now, ideally, I would have put this in on my last fishing trip when I filled it up and drove it home, and it would have automatically, you know, done its thing, right? You absolutely would have. Yep. Putting fuel treatment in your gas, it's a good practice. Having a JF Agwo when your battery's dead, that's a must-have. Yes, sir. Now, I'm gonna sneak in here. Oh, it's tight. Oh my God, I can't fit. There we go. We're gonna sit right here next to Mr. Mercruiser. And we're gonna take a spark arrestor off. You're like, Michael, why are you taking a spark arrestor off? Because boy, it's a good practice. You know, good practice and must-have. There's a fine line between those two things, I feel. But this is a good practice. Oh. Choke's all the way open. It's running really, really good. Idle a little up high right now, but I've got it idle a little high. I can drop it back to low idle. But for my next trick, we're gonna fog the engine. I just love the sound of an engine running. Cap tight, hook strong. All right, now I just bought this Starbright, not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Starbright, professional grade fogging oil, deep penetrating, maximum protection of all engines in seasonal or long-term storage. 6 months is long-term for a boat. 6 months for an engine not running is long-term, period, I feel. Engines are built to be ran, not to sit and be admired. Run them. So now what we're going to do is spray this down the intake while it's at kind of a high idle. And what this is going to do is going to lubricate the valves. It's going to lubricate the back sides where the intake's coming in. It's going to lubricate the exhaust coming out, believe it or not, because there's going to be a little extra oil in the exhaust. She's going to probably be blowing a little blue smoke. And also, it lubricates the cylinder walls and the top sides of the pistons. Just stops moisture from creeping in and doing unspeakable things to your piston hole. Yep. Okay. See how that almost killed it? I just gave it a little squirt. Well, I'm gonna rev it up a little higher now. And I'm just gonna shoot it in there. We're not trying to kill the engine yet. We're just trying to get this stuff running through its system. Keep in mind the whole time it's doing this, that stable is getting into the fuel, getting into your carburetor and making sure it's stable. I just keep kind of like not killing it. Engine is up to temperature at this moment in time. Once we've done this for a little while, we feel we've sucked a lot of stuff in there. Give it a heavy spray and just kill the engine. A little extra don't hurt. The buzzer's going off. Must be the engine's done. Its cooking timer is done. So, pretty easy, right? Now, ideally, after you've done doing this, you're going to change the spark plugs. I am not. And they're like, Michael, why aren't you going to change your spark plugs? Well, because these spark plugs aren't that old. And I'm just going to leave them in there. It was running pretty good. Now, last time we went out, I was all in a no-wake lake, so I really can't open it up and really have fun with it. So that's why when I started it up, it was running a little rich, so it had to burn some McNasties off the spark plugs, right? That's back on and done. Now, the must-have. We'll go ahead and get this seat out of the way. Put this back. Sorry, guys, you fell down. Oh, my goodness. Let's get you back up here. See if I can get you where you won't fall down. I fall down, I get up again. Nothing's ever going to get me down. Now, because I run old boats and do a bunch of old stuff, see, it's all nice and warm now. Oh, yeah, it feels good on the hands because it's chilly out today. We're going to go ahead and back this one off. And we'll back this one off. These are brand new hoses a year or so ago. Maybe only 2. These shouldn't be, and I painted this up really nice, so it shouldn't really be stuck that bad, I'm hoping. There we go. Got that one coming loose. Yeah, yeah. Why did I paint it lime green? That's what I had. Oh, yeah. Now, this is where it's going to get a little messy. That's okay. I used to worry about the water left in the bottom of the boat in the wintertime, especially if it was just water. But by the time I'm done, see how this is flushing through there? You can't see that. Let me bring you on the other side. Okay. What I'm doing is holding this hose up, using it like a funnel. I'm pouring this in here like this, and I'm gonna pour it in here, and you'll start to see out of that green piece there, right there, it'll start coming out pink. And you wait till it gets pretty good and bright pink. I'm just doing about 1.5 gallons through this hose. See how bright pink that is? That's as pink. And that's going through everything and coming back out like it should. Once that's pink as all get out, I'll stick this one back on, and then I'll start pouring into this one. There's a little smaller target, but not impossible to hit. And where's this one going, you ask? Right into the intake manifold. And what you want to see is pink fluid coming out of the back of the exhaust, which is through the middle of your prop. I would show you that shot, but I think you get the picture. And here I am putting the other basic half gallon, gallon and a half into this one. You don't want any water left in your system is what we're saying. What this does is flush out your intake manifold, which is a water jacket around your exhaust, which keeps your exhaust from getting too hot inside your boat. It's coming out the back bright pink. We like that a lot. You can't see it on here, but you just have to trust me. It's what's happening. Now, we can put these back on. And don't forget to tighten them back up. I've done that before, and I'm wondering, where's the water coming from? Oh, it's around my hose clamps. I didn't tighten back up. I'm going to do my best to get you guys in here. It's not easy. It's a dark place. But right on the side of the suspension block is a petcock. Sometimes it's just a let me get it loose here and then I'll talk. There's just a petcock. I got my fuel gauge in the way. Let me get you back in here. It's right here, and we'll just turn it in, and now what you're seeing is a bunch of pink fluid coming out. That's awesome. And no water at all, right? That's what you want to see. That will drain your block. And I let that drain till all the water is gone. Now under here, there's another, where is it at? Right there. On the exhaust manifold here, there is another plug. And it's just a tapered pipe plug. You can see there's quite a bit of water coming out of your block. Now you can see why. If you don't drain that, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you don't flush your antifreeze anyway. Winterize, baby. All right, come on. Now sometimes it won't drain out of your exhaust manifold like it should. Sediment, sand, and dirt. See there, I just unplugged it. Can plug that up. Now you see paint coming out of both of them, I hope. And they're going to drain for a little bit. So this just shows you how much water is in your block. This has been draining for a little bit now. Now, like I said, I used to get worried about this antifreeze being in the bottom of my boat back here. What I'll do, excuse me, I will back my boat down on a hill a little bit, get as much of it out as I can. But what's worse is having water in the bottom of your boat, and you have some loose spots, say rivet-wise, in the back of your boat. And when that water gets in there and freezes and it hydraulics sets stuff apart and starts really ruining things. So an antifreeze won't freeze, so that makes it safer. Obviously, there's more in the block than there was in the exhaust manifold. Now I like to go ahead and put these plugs back in, and I'll shut off that valve as well, or if it's both of them are plugs. Just because next spring, you know, it's been a long time, and you get excited and you get out here and start your boat up, and you're like, oh, everything's running great. And then you realize there's water all over the back of my boat. I only say that because it's never happened to me. Only a couple of times. And a lot of times if you pay somebody to winterize your boat, they'll put these plugs in a plastic bag for you, and they'll zip tie it to your steering wheel. And you'll be going, oh, what are these all for? Well, that's to put them in before you go to the lake, dummy. The nice thing about that petcock is it's pretty easy. Actually, I'm in search of, and I've been trying to find something to replace these with, like a ball valve, so I can just go whoop, whoop, and ball valve it open, and you're done. So once she's pretty much done draining out, that means the water level is down to here in your block, which ain't a whole lot of water left at all. You can go ahead and shut it off. And these valves, I don't tighten up very tight. Hand tighten and just a little tweak. That's it. Don't have to get all gorilla on it. Now, my hand's a little nasty, but I keep rags in the boat. Okay, so now let's recap what we've done. We put water on the outdrive. We warmed up the engine to operating temperature. We took the air cleaner off while it was running. You don't do that at home. I do it because I'm a trained professional. I'm not. But because you could accidentally drop something down in there while it's running, that wouldn't be good. I know what I'm doing 9 times out of 10, which isn't as good as 99 times out of 100. Because 9 out of 10 is only 90%. 99 times out of 100 is 99%. But pull that off. Then you get your fog and oil out, and you start doing right there, right? You fog it, you kill it. What that does is that tunes up the whole inside of the top end of the motor with some oil to help preserve it over the winter. We have winters here, and moisture, and rust, and everything in between. So once you do that and kill it, ideally, depending on how much, if I use my boat, say 50 hours, 60 hours, 70 hours every summer, I'd just put a new set of spark plugs in it right now, and then it's ready for next spring. You fire up and you're gone. This one, I don't have that many hours on the spark plug. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and then what do we do next? We drain the block. Well, nope, we didn't drain the block. We put the pink antifreeze. Now this is a minus 50, as I said before. You can get minus 75 out there, but you drain, you pour it through those hoses like that on these 4 cylinders, and it turns everything pink inside. That means all that antifreeze is in the block now. And then we just drained off, as you saw there, the excess. And some people go, why did you leave it in there? Well, it's not really a need to. I don't feel there's a need to. Some people might. The way I look at it, in the wintertime, it's got antifreeze in where it's left, and the rest of the block is not full of water once you drain it. I think it's a personal preference thing. Oh, look who we got here. Merc, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Oh, he's. Are you ready to throw Frisbee? I think it's time to throw Frisbee with him. I have to do that here in a minute. So now that this is done, now this is something you don't have to do unless you like buying batteries. So this is a good practice. Pull your battery out. Put it on a battery tender for the winter. And then you're done. Next spring, you've got a fully charged battery. You put that in there. Now here as well is a good time to change your oil. Or you can change it next spring. Personal preference. There again, I don't have that many hours on this oil. I'm not going to worry about it this year. I literally have 15 hours on this oil. I think that's it. And this is probably the second year on my spark plugs. Next year will be my third year. Still, I haven't put that many hours on this boat. I take that back. We did do the Mississippi a few times. It's fine. It's fine. All righty. Well, what's next, you say? Well, we got to get that battery out. All right, we got the other boat put away in its little hideaway down there in the lean-to next to the banana for its winter slumber. The battery is out of it. Can't pull the battery out till the very end because I have to lower the trim when it's in place, and you got to do that with the battery in it. So all the batteries so far are on the chargers in the house being preserved for another season, and now it's time for the Rad, also known as the Cobalt USA 8-passenger SCI 106 SC what? I'm not sure how that's supposed to be. SC 106 SCI 06. Reshaping the industry, as it were. All right. We're going to go ahead and, oops. Really, really helps to bring water to the yard. So turn the water on. Water's on. Whoa, water's on. All right, we're gonna get in here. Hopefully the battery's in okay shape. Similar situation. I haven't run it since, oh, there's water sitting in here. How dare it? Let's take her down. All the way down. What's your fire? A little sluggish. A little sluggish. You know what? I'm wondering. Fuel pump's not working on this thing as it should. So I had to put an electric fuel pump in it last time I was, an emergency situation on the river to get us 80 miles back home. Oh, climbing in. I had to go and put the electric fuel pump in it from O'Reilly's that I bought there. And let's see here. We got to do some work. Okay, we got the old electric pump switch flipped on. I forgot to turn the switch on. Now let's see if she'll start. Oh yeah. Wants to run. All right, we got it running, yeah! Wasn't that hard. So, last time we had this out, fuel pump died on me. So I had to install one of these to get me home. About 80 miles from my dock. So that got me home. The old fuel pump, I think, is overpowering the float a little bit. We got a little drippage going on. Well, I'll have to address that next spring. I ain't doing it today. Today's about getting ready for the winter. Give it a little throttle here. It's starting to warm up. We got an oil pressure going and we got some charging going, which is good. I tell you, I like the sound of that old inline six when she revs up. You just can't hear that when you're in the water because it's all underwater. Now that she's completely warmed up, we we can do just what we did before, and we'll rev it up just a little bit more. All right, pumps off. We drowned it out, so now the top end of the engine is fogged just like the other one. We're gonna do just like we did before. I had to put my gloves on. It was getting a little chilly out. Starting to get a little cold on the old handsers. Just as we did before, we're gonna pour this. See, we see hot water coming out of there and it's all turning pink. Now this is a lot bigger block. Than the 4-cylinder. So it's going to take just a little more liquid. I feel comfortable putting a little more liquid in there. Let's just say that. And just like we did before, we're draining the block in the intake manifold / exhaust manifold. And all we want to see is just beautiful pink fluid coming out. Once that's drained, I'll put this plug back in and shut that off. And then this one's done. All right, folks, that wraps up the winterizing of the Cobalt. I'm not changing the gear oil until spring. It'll be fine. It's a little bit of effort, but it's worth it in the long run so you don't destroy your block. Now, public service announcement time. Make sure you take the time to do this. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3 other boats out here that I haven't ran yet. And I got them this summer, and I don't know what the condition of the blocks are in. Let's just say that. So what I'm going to do with those, whoops, I hit my mic. What I'm going to do with those is go ahead and do the same winterization thing. I can't run them, they don't run yet, but I can still flush the block, and that's key. If I flush the block, you know, there's a good chance I can save it, because if I don't flush the block, I don't know what condition they are when I got them from somebody, and this way I can be assured that I won't have a cracked block to deal with next spring, which would be bad. So take the time to winterize. Keep some of these old blocks around a little bit longer, folks. Like I'm doing with those other 3 that I haven't ran yet. I could go, I'm not worried about them, they'll be fine. Who knows what somebody else did? Well, at least I'll know what I did. And if anything's wrong with it, cracked block-wise, I know what happened before I got a hold of it. And we can keep a few of these old birds alive a little bit longer. You know, if we don't take care of them now, who will? And if we don't train and like these videos I put out there, teach other people how to do this stuff, they will never learn and never know. And then eventually all these old engines will die out and they'll be in the junkyard and they won't even show up at a museum 100 years from now. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just saying, take care of them. It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of time. You know, between that boat and the other boat, it took me a little over an hour to do both. That's it. It takes me longer to put a cover over it and back it into its location and stow it pretty much than it does to winterize it. And also on the outdrives, when you stow them down. Put them all the way down. That does two things. It takes the stress off the exhaust boot and the gimbal boot, so they're not stretched out and then it goes through the whole winter all stretched out. It will make it last a little longer, I feel. Plus, any water that might be in the lower unit will drain out. That's very important that all gets drained out, because you don't want anything sitting in there and with water in it, and all of a sudden you could crack some stuff. Water is, when it freezes, is very powerful, and it will crack things. It will distort things. It will ruin stuff you don't want ruined. That's all there is to it. Yeah, that carburetor I noticed had a little bit of leakety leak going on. I rebuilt that one, but I also had the electric fuel pump on there, which there again, it's only supposed to be 4 to 7 pounds, which that should be able to handle without leaking. But we'll have to dig into that next spring as well before I take it out. Well, I got to do some work on it anyway, because I've got to replace the fuel pump, get rid of that electric one, and put the mechanical. Bought one right after we got home from our trip on the river when it gave us a fit, and I had to put that electric one in. But the cool part is I did put stable in the tank. I did swish it around a little bit. We ran it, see what it does, see how long it helps us. It fired right up once I got fuel to it, though. That just tells you how bad the fuel pump is. It's not pumping anything, but it will let another pump kind of help it out for sure, and that's what it did. So, all right, this is Michael saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. We'll see you hopefully next Sunday with some more stuff that we get done. I'm trying to do at least one video on each channel a week. You guys, if you haven't checked out my other channel, RM3D Creations, this is RMD Creations. Check out RM3D Creations. It's my basically doing everything else in the backyard. You'll see me working on stuff like this trailer that I bought. You'll be seeing me work on other things in the yard. I've got a special piece of equipment arriving next week that you can follow on the next channel. I won't put it on this channel because it's not boat related, but it will be on the other channel. I encourage you to go over there and watch that. I think the content over there is just as good, or I don't know, maybe even better for some of you. For boat people that love the boats, this is the channel for you. And you're gonna see me working on all my stuff boat-wise. I haven't given up on Big Blue. I just gotta work on things as they come. And speaking of that, not every week is a series of getting this project completely done, because sometimes I have to wait for parts. I have to wait for maybe it not to be so cold outside to do stuff. There's several things that come into play on a regular basis. But if there's something that's in a series, it's like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that type of thing. I'll try to keep the first part of the title the same and just change part, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for you guys that follow me on a weekly basis, you're gonna see me jump around a little bit. People that discover my channel a year from now, 2 years from now, they'll be able to watch the entire series from start to finish. So that's kind of how it comes together. I'd love to have I don't have the staffing, I don't have the crewing, I don't have the endless amount of time to do this full time. So I'm working my butt off to try to get what I can get done part time. So I got evenings and weekends. I still work a full-time job, and that also helps me afford to do some of this stuff too. This channel pays a little bit. It definitely doesn't cover all the expenses. So I subsidize it with my regular income. But there again, I'm working a lot of hours to get this done. 60 to 70 to 80 hour weeks come into play sometimes. I try to pace myself. Sometimes I burn myself out, and I don't want to do that. But trying to stay healthy and keep things coming for you guys, because honestly, I want to do this for another 20 years. I want to be able to work on stuff, share stuff with you, have you guys learn. You guys give me, I learn from you guys as much as you learn from me. I swear. You guys always have great comments. You leave me good stuff down there, and you also share your experiences or share what you do, and I'm like, oh, that is a better way. I'm gonna have to do that from now on. So thank you guys for leaving comments. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. If you haven't hit that notification bell, and those of you that just haven't got an account yet, it doesn't take hardly anything at all to sign up for an account for YouTube. So you can leave comments, and then you can subscribe to videos, and you can hit that notification bell. It takes a little bit of time. It's cost you no money. No money. And I'm never going to ask you guys for money that I'm not willing to work for. So I've thought about putting up a Patreon account so that I could put out stuff just for Patreons and give them a special something else. Maybe someday, but right now it just doesn't feel right. I get why people do it. I don't think I need to do it. I think you guys support me well enough at this point in time with just watching the full length of the video. Give me the thumbs up, and then follow the links below in the description to find products on Amazon. I have an affiliate account there, so when you guys click a link, you can click a link to go buy a spark plug and then buy a boat. And the cool part is, because you followed my link to Amazon, I will get the, what do you want to call, the credit for pointing in that direction, and I earn a little bit of commission. It's a very small amount of commission, but you know, it adds up to a couple of dollars here and there. So that's awesome. And if you guys keep doing that, that helps out a lot too with the channel. And it does, your buying experience on Amazon will not be one bit different. You won't notice anything different. It will be the same experience you've always had on Amazon. All right, well, that's enough for me today. Thank you folks for watching. We're running out of daylight fast. What time is it? It gets so dark so early. It's 4 o'clock. I got about another hour's worth of work to do outside, and then it's dark at like 5:30, and then or 6:30, 6 o'clock, it starts getting dark. So, and it's been overcast all day, so I really haven't experienced a lot of sunshine today, other than my sparkling personality. All right, this is Michael. I'm out. Enjoy the drone footage at the end. Hopefully we can capture a lot more next year drone footage wise, but we're gonna keep doing what we can do indoors, because I saw flurries today. It's almost the end of October and I saw flurries. Oh well, it's gonna be in the 20s. I've had to put my coveralls on. I've had to put on a coat. I had to wear a t-shirt under my Hawaiian shirt, just so I can, you know, not get chilled and get sick or anything like that. So, see you on the next video. Enjoy life, folks. I'm out of here. Oh, this battery's gonna be so heavy. Just in case you guys were wondering, a few of you might have seen it last year when I bought this Nelco Genius 2x4. It's a battery maintainer / charger. It will do lead, AGM, and deep cycle batteries, and LiPo. So, nose, excuse me. But as you can see here, this is one that's been plugged in for a little while now. I just hooked that one up. We just brought it in from outside. It's starting to charge right now. Helps if I get it up here, right? And then these are charging along, and then eventually when it's fully charged, it'll be not flashing green, it'll go solid green, and then it's fully charged. And I'll let these sit here all winter, and I'll just change them out throughout the winter and keep them all fully charged so they stay like in brand new condition. Okay, even with some age on them from there. So just thought you guys might be wanting to see that. Well, now it's time to fire up the old computer and put this memory chip in there and get your video edited. Hopefully be out in about 3 or 4 hours from now. We'll see. Bye.